Hello beautiful and welcome to Mawaheb home. Today is the day that we finally burn test these candles that we made in the last two videos. I've got the candles here and I know that you guys wanted to see a close-up of the tops of the candles, which we'll go through together, and I'm also going to be smelling the cold throw with you guys on camera. So first candle is the fireplace, and this is the RCX wax along with the CL16 wick. And let me show you the top of the candle. As you guys can see, I'll bring it closer. A very smooth candle, it doesn't need a heat gun, a beautiful tops. And the tops are literally like this on all of the candles. One thing I noticed as well with the candles while they were curing is that the candles haven't really been sweating. My S41 sweat as soon as the weather gets super hot, but with my RCX wax they've handled the heat so far. Let me show you the tops on the other two candles. As you guys can see here, really beautiful tops. Is this focusing? Right. Really beautiful tops, as you guys can see. No sweating whatsoever. It's literally 29 degrees at the moment as we speak. So, and the fact that the candles have not sweated is beautiful. The sweating is very natural when it comes down to natural waxes, and it's actually a good sign because your waxes are natural. They are going to react to the weather. The candles will frost when it's a lot colder, and the candles will sweat when it's a lot hotter. The only thing is, what you need to do, if you notice that your candle is sweating, dab it with a kitchen towel just to get rid of the sweating on top of the candle, and then light your candle on and you can carry on your burn test as usual. With the S41, to be honest you guys, I was pretty shocked how much sweating I got out of the candle. So I'm literally thinking to see if I can kind of mix it with the Cosy wax, because the Cosy wax is a lot harder and it actually does handle the heat. I've worked with it for a very long time, so I'm thinking to maybe add a little bit of Cosy onto my S41 just so I can control the sweating of it during warmer weathers. But we'll do this in another video in more detail and test it in more detail. Right, first things first, we've got the fireplace candle. Oh, you guys, smelling this candle reminds me of winter. It reminds me of, it gives me the feel of sitting by a fireplace. It really does. It's just such a unique scent. I can smell woodiness and depth in the fragrance oil. It smells incredible. Wow, it really, you know, those, it almost smells if I can take you back to winter a little bit, or autumn winter when it rains and you get that gorgeous smell, the freshness smell of the rain landing on the leaves of the trees, or on bushes where you can smell the rain. It smells a little bit similar to that, but it's got so much depth. I haven't looked into the notes of this candle, but I think it smells it's got a little bit of woodiness in there that my nose can pick up. It smells absolutely incredible. Next one we have is jasmine. So the fireplace candle, I will actually rate a healthy 8 out of 10. Recently you guys, I've had this, I've just been thinking, you know, when you just sit down and you kind of, I'm a deep thinker, you guys. I think about things very deeply. I've got deep thoughts. I daydream a lot. I'm a Pisces, and Pisces are daydreamers. And a lot of, like, recently my daydreams have been back home. Like, my mind has been taking me back home a lot. And jasmine, if you haven't noticed already, jasmine and gardenia and those floral notes really hit home for me because it reminds me of home. And I will give this a 10 out of 10 cold throw. I absolutely love the cold throw of this. It's just incredible. It smells so good. And you guys, I'm very picky with my jasmine. I've tried jasmine from many candle suppliers, and the one jasmine that comes close to what reminds me of home is the one from Nikura fragrance oils. I'll link it down below. The next fragrance that I have is sandalwood and amber. Oh, you guys, I just cannot. I get so happy smelling good quality fragrance oils. I love that you can smell the scent straight out of the candle. Like, you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, what am I smelling? It smells strong enough that you can smell the amber, you can smell the sandalwood. I can also smell a little bit of vanilla or tonka bean as well. There's that mixture of sweetness and woodiness to it. It's just an incredible cold throw. I'll also give this a good 10 out of 10 cold throw. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. I love playing around with good quality fragrances, and right now I just want to burn test them with you guys. Right, jasmine in my room actually, so let's do that. And I'm also going to note down the process because I am testing with 1 wicks. As you guys know, for the longest time I've been testing 2 wicks in my candles, and recently I found that Stabilo and CL and TB wicks have been working extremely well with 1 wick in my 30 centiliters, so which is good news. This is a Stabilo 12 RCX wax, a 30 centiliter candle container, and a jasmine fragrance oil. Oh my god, this flame is super high on this lighter. Right, first hour burn, you guys. Let's do it. Right, next up I'm going to put this in my brother's bedroom, and this is the fireplace. Honestly, smells incredible. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on with you guys. Second candle on, and the last but not least is a sandalwood and amber, and I'm gonna put that in my parents' bedroom, and then we'll go through the details of the candles as well as the hot throw of the candles in about an hour. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. So as soon as I walked into the bedroom, I decided to leave the candles to their own privacy, go downstairs so I can come in with a fresh nose. Now I'm burning the jasmine in my bedroom, and unfortunately the Stabilo 12 is not working as well as I thought it would with the RCX wax. However, with the S41, the Stabilo 12 works perfectly. So I can smell the jasmine in the room a little bit. It's there, I can smell it, but I think if I had a better wick, I will smell it a lot more. Let's dive into the candle, into more details, so you guys can see what I mean. So here we are, you guys. This is what I mean. This is all the information that I filled in when we were making the candles last week, and this is the candle. As you guys can see here, the candle's literally about to switch itself off. It's just struggling for dear life. I think it needed the Stabilo 14, which I will note on my notes as I burn test this with you guys, so I know for the next time I make an RCX candle with a 30 centiliter candle container. Honestly, I've got nothing really to say about this. As you guys can see here, the wick is really struggling. But let's move on to the next one, and here is for the fireplace fragrance oil. It smells incredible in my brother's bedroom. I really like the smell of this. I can smell it very clearly. So I would give the hot throw a healthy 8 out of 10 in my brother's bedroom, and that's for the first hour burn. However, if we can look closely on the wick, the CL16 is large for my candle container, so I will need to be wicking down from here. I do have the window open, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's video. It is very warm in London, so I'm not going to be burning candles with all the windows shut. So there is a slight breeze coming from the left side of the room, and obviously it's going to move the flame around. However, I can't see any soot out of the flame despite the window hitting the candle, which is great. The flame height is too large. This is a flame height that I will not be happy with. So for me, even just by looking at it on the first hour burn, this has failed my burn test. I don't like a flame that's higher than the actual jar. It's definitely not the wick for my candles. So instead of CL16, I'll go down to CL14 with my RCX wax. There's no mushrooming on the wick, which is great, and the candle has not reached a full melt pool, which is also great. However, I think by the second hour burn we'll definitely reach a full melt pool because it's burning fast, I think. So that is for fireplace. Let's move on to the next one. As for the candle in my parents' bedroom, that would be the sandalwood and amber. Unfortunately, it's so unfortunate that I cannot smell anything in this bedroom. Literally nothing. It's almost like I'm burning
it's almost like I'm not burning anything in the candle. Let's dive into the candle a little bit deeper. The TB14 I think is doing the best out of the CR16 and the Stabilo 12. I really like the flame height on this. It's a lot smaller than the CL16, which is lovely. We're not at a full melt pour, which is great because it's only been the first hour burn. There's no mushroom, no soot coming out from the flame, and I do also have a window open in my parents' bedroom. So I do have a breeze coming from the right side, which could affect the dancing of the flame. But to be honest, the flame looks pretty steady for me, considering that there is a window open. It's not like the CL16 where I feel like the dancing on the flame is a lot more vigorous. So this one is pretty calm. There is a slight dance to it, however it's not a worrying one, which I'm really happy with. But this is how it looks like. I'm so upset that there's no hot throw on the sandalwood and amber. I could play around with it more. Maybe it's my wick, it could be my wax, but yes.
And here is for the second hour burn. Despite of the Stabilo 12 not working very well in my 30 centiliter with my RCX wax, the smell of the jasmine is actually pretty strong in my bedroom now that we're in the second hour burn. I'm definitely going to be remaking a candle with sizing up in terms of a wick. But I'm not really going to go through the candle in detail, you guys, because there's no point, and I'll show you what I mean.
There's literally barely any flame. If you do have your hand or your finger on top of the flame, you can feel the heat, obviously. But I feel like the jasmine does have potential in terms of hot throw. It's just unfortunate that the wick is not working. But I'm not gonna refer back to this candle anymore. We'll just focus on the other two candles. And the second hour for the cozy fireplace, or just the fireplace, I know that you will agree with me that this flame height is just too large, you guys. And as you can see, the flickering and the dancing on the flame is pretty vigorous, and I just saw a little bit of sooting from the flame. I don't know if you guys caught that too, but there's no mushrooming on the wick, which is great, which is what I love about my CLTBs and Stabilos. They barely have any mushrooming, and if they do develop mushrooming, it's usually at the end of my burn cycle. The hot throw is still there in my brother's bedroom. I love how good it smells. It's definitely worth a fragrance to test with it further. I will need to just wick down because this wick is just too big for my candle. Look at that, you guys. But I haven't reached the sides of the candles yet, which is a good sign actually, because I don't have like a completely full even melt pour. I still have some wax on the side to burn off. As for the second hour burn for the sandalwood and amber, I'm just not happy with the way the hot throw is doing with this one right now. I think the hot throw is doing a little bit better on the fireplace and the jasmine, despite the small non-existent flame. It's just there's no hot throw on the sandalwood and amber. I think I might need to experiment with it further. As you guys can see here, I think the flame height has gone a little bit too big for me. On the first hour burn, it wasn't this large. This is too large for me. I think as the candle burned through, if it carries on with this type of flame, I will have soot all over my candle jar as the candle burns through. So I don't think that the TB14 is the right one. Maybe the RCX wax doesn't take single wicking as good as S41. It's so nice to see the difference between the two and how two different waxes work differently. With my S41, one wicks will work in perfectly, but I'm guessing RCX will need a little bit more help. I could do 2 wicks in my 30 centiliter when I'm working with RCX, but it's really good to know and to show you that 2 different waxes will have 2 different results, and not every result is the same. But I'm very glad that there's no mushrooming or soot from the flame, which is excellent. There is a slight dance to the flame. Again, there is a window open in all of the bedrooms, so there will be a slight dance to the flame if there's wind blowing from the window, which is absolutely fine. But again, it's about the flame height for me. It's about the safety of the candle, and I don't feel like the TB14 and the CL16 is screaming it's a safe candle, it's a good candle. It doesn't tick all the boxes, if I'm being honest with you. But let's wait for the 3rd hour burn, and then I'll also put all the wicks together, all the candles together, so you guys can see the differences and how it burns and etc, etc. And this is for the 3rd hour burn. This is the cozy fireplace. This flame is humongous, guys. Look at that. That's too big for my candles. This is not a good flame for me. However, we are at a full melt pour right now on the 3rd hour burn. There's no mushrooming on the wick, which is excellent considering how large the flame is. This burn test is a fail for me, specifically for this candle, because it's not a safe candle to burn in my opinion. The hot throw is still there, but I think there's a lot more work that I need to do on the fragrances. I didn't expect it to work from the first time, but I was very excited to smell the hot throw of the fragrances that I did choose out of the collection that I bought from them. As for the sandalwood and amber candle, I cannot smell a thing in the air. Honestly, I don't know if it's the fragrance, I don't know if it's my wax or my wick, but again, it's that letdown of not smelling this gorgeous fragrance that I can smell from the cold throw and when I first received these fragrances. So it's a little bit of a disappointment in that respect, but I think I can't judge it too soon, you guys, because I've only tested it once. And as you know, when you're testing candles and fragrances, it's a longer process than just burn testing it once. So I guess there's more for me to play around with, but this is the results this far. So the TB14 is again not the wick for my jar. I think the RCX wax is not working with the single wicks with my 30 centiliters. There is no mushroom on the wick, which is great. I have reached a full melt pool. There is a soft layer of wax around the candle container, which is great, but I think I do need to down to TB12 or go for the double wicking. And this is for the 4th hour burn. I brought all the candles into my bedroom. The cozy fireplace still is giving out a good hot throw. The jasmine candle actually switched itself off because the wick was too small to burn off all the wax in my candle jar. And the sandalwood and amber, you guys, I just cannot smell it. It's zero smell. But I could smell the jasmine. Even with that little flame, I could still smell the jasmine. With the RCX wax, because I haven't tested them with fragrance oils before and I haven't tested them in my 30 centiliters, I tested them in my amber jars, I believe. I hope I'm not mistaken. But it's nice to see and to understand that my RCX wax could use 2 wicks in my 30 centiliters, and that 1 wick could be working a little bit too hard. Let me bring you closer just so we can go through the candles in detail, so you can understand how the candles are doing basically at the end of my burn test. Right, you guys, as you can see, I've got the fireplace here and the sandalwood and amber here, and obviously the jasmine candle just switched itself off. So let me just focus the camera properly so you guys can see. I do have a slight bit of mushrooming on the wick, if you guys can see it there, but these type of mushrooming don't really bother me because it always develops at the end of my burn test, which is excellent. If I have mushrooming at the beginning of my burn cycle, that's not the best wick for me, because then that mushroom will end up growing on the wick and it wouldn't look very pretty. And moving on to the TB14, again, it's a steadier wick than CL, if you guys can see, but there is a slight dance to it. But it's also a large wick for the candle container. Look at this, you guys. It is a angry flame. Look at this. With the Nikura fragrances, obviously, as you know, I love my Cosy Owl fragrances, but I definitely get a lot more hot throw from the Cosy Owl fragrances comparing to the Nikura or Nikura fragrance oils. I can't judge it from the first burn test. I have to work with the fragrance a little bit more. To be honest, I want to give jasmine another go. It's a little bit unfair that I can't really conduct a proper burn test when my wick is too small for my candle jar. And I really want to retest the sandalwood and amber because it's a bit of a shame that I can't smell it. Oh, I think before, God, you guys, I'm not too sure. I definitely need to remake candles and try them with 2 wicks with the RCX, and I want to try them with the S41 and see if there's a difference of hot throw. It could be that the RCX wax, mainly I got it from my essential oil candles because it smells delightful. RCX and essential oils work like best friends, so maybe the RCX wax is not working the best with the fragrance oil company, so maybe I could try it with the S41. There's a lot of ways to try and to test and trial your fragrance and your wax and your wick. To be honest, I remember one of you lovely people had put under one of my videos that you have tested the fragrance oil before and it gives off a beautiful cold throw, but unfortunately it disappoints in terms of hot throw, which I completely get your point now. However, for my own testing and my own peace of mind, I think I'm going to give it another go in my own time
and see how it works. I don't want you to ever feel discouraged if you guys do have a failed burn test, because I promise you it's very normal. It's why you test, it's why you trial, it's why you error, it's you getting better every time, and it's you understanding your candle every time. That is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I gave you an idea of the hot throw and the cold throw. And please make sure that you click on that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.